Oh my God. Oh my God. It's happening. I'm getting my Rivian. All right, it finally happened. I got my email that I was going to have my first call with my guide with Rivian. I was so excited to be able to start this journey and start that communication. I also figured if I'm going to start talking to a guide, that my delivery of my Rivian has to be pretty close. Well, today was the day I was supposed to have my call with my guide. And I want to give a big shout out to Martin. He's a little under the weather today and could have easily rescheduled on me. Although we didn't have a voice-to-voice call, Martin was able to communicate with me on next steps and different Q&A, all through text messaging. So I really appreciate him taking some additional time to answer my questions and get my Rivian purchase process started. In this video, what I wanted to show you, and in my videos to come, is the purchase process. For some of you who are going to wait a little while and are maybe a little unsure as to how Rivian does it, I want to take my journey with you as to what that purchase experience is like. That's going to cover, I'll go over here shortly, the configuration of my R1T, what configurations I've had it in, and what I ended on. And like many of you, I went through the ups and downs, that emotional ride of having that price increase and how I reacted to that, and then what got me to this place today. I'll also go over as well some of my conversation that I had with Martin, my guide, and some of the questions that I asked him and some of the answers that I got back. So I'm pretty excited to take you on this journey with me. Let's do it. All right, so what I want to start with is going over the different configurations that I had on my R1T and why I made those changes. So let's get right into Rivian.com. Where you would obviously go configure your vehicle. So we're going to go to the R1T. We're going to go to configure now, and we'll start with kind of the general how I approached my vehicle. So I knew, my wife and I knew that we wanted the adventure package. It just, I think, came with a few more features on there. I think for the money, it was worth it. We definitely liked the options of the adventure package with the different colors, and we were pretty excited about it. So I think when you're looking at this kind of money, you should just go for it. So we also had the quad motor selected on there for all-wheel drive. There is a dual motor option on there now, which is a little less expensive to do. And also know that my starting price on the adventure package before was a little less expensive. So for anybody watching the video after the price increase, obviously this is going to look a little different than my configuration, but you'll understand why. And then also I did the large pack, and the reason I decided between the large pack and the max pack, one is I wanted to be able to get the truck sooner. And from what I was hearing, that the max pack was taking a little bit longer. Now, the additional price increase for, we'll call it, little, at this point, it's a little less than 100 miles. Mostly I'm going to be commuting around my community, my city. So I don't really need long range. And I've had a Tesla before, so I don't have a lot of range anxiety when it comes to charging and driving long distances. So we went with the large pack. I also went with the white exterior. All my cars are white with black accent pieces. I think it just, with the contrast, looks super sharp, and that's what I like. Now, the wheels were a big point of contention for me. I kept coming back to it and changing them, so much so that it really got pretty confusing. I did end up going with the 22-inch Sport Darks. I think that looks pretty sweet. I'm going to be doing a lot of highway driving. So as much as I love the way that the 20s look with these tires on it, I just don't see the value for me in wearing these on highways and getting a lot of return on that investment. So do I think that $3,500 is a lot of money for these rims? Yes, I do. And could I find probably something in the aftermarket? Yeah. But do I want to invest the time to do that? No, not really. So I just said, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So let's go. All right. So this was another early decision for me that I had to decide on, is what was the interior color that I was going to be choosing from. Boy, I really love the Ocean. I think it looks super sharp. Boy, it's very eye-catching, and it has just this elevated look to it, right? But I also have a 5-year-old, and although I have a great deal of confidence that these seats won't get dirty, I don't have a lot of confidence that I can keep them clean for the life of the truck. So I then started debating over the green, the Forest Edge, or the black, which I've always had black interiors. For me, it's just smart, it's easy, it's sleek, it's traditional. It's what people kind of expect if you were to go resell a vehicle. But boy, that green really got me, and I had to think pretty hard. I did end up going with the black. That seems like a clean, easy decision for me to be making with my family. Now, when I originally priced out the Rivian, one of the things that we added was the kitchen. And we thought, boy, this would be awesome to use the kitchen, go on camping trips, go tailgating and use this. So we did have this built into the package. And at that time, I think it was $5,000 or $5,500. And I'll explain why I thought, although that's kind of pricey, building in a car or a truck, I thought there was some value there, and I'll explain why in a minute. We had also added the tent, okay, thinking, oh boy, we're going to go on camping trips and we could use this and that'd be great. The end, we talked about when's the last time we ever went camping, when are we going to go camping, and where am I going to store this tent when we're not using it, which, by the way, camping will be a few and far between thing for us. So I also have to think about where I'm going to put that. And right now at $3,100, and I think that was increased in price as well, I just thought, boy, that just seemed pretty tough, okay? I did not go with the reinforced underbody shield. Like I said, I'm not going to be going off-road, so I'm not sure I can get a lot of value for $2,000. The tow hooks are included in the adventure package, and I think that there is value here. One of the things that I don't hear talked about a lot is the tow charging that you can do on a Rivian. If anybody watched A Long Way Up, which you can find it on Apple TV, Ewan McGregor and his buddy Charlie actually had the first VIN number 1 and VIN number 2 on this adventure they had from South America all the way up to LA, and they had to use tow charging on the prototypes of the Rivians. Now, hopefully these days you don't need that, but if it were a situation, boy, that would really come in handy. So whether you think you're going to be pulling people out of ditches or not, I think just for the sheer fact of some people might have range anxiety, and if you ever got stuck on the side of the road and somebody with a vehicle that could tow you could at least get you some miles, maybe, if they're willing to do that, if you're really in a pinch. The other piece is I did not get the full spare. I had it on for a while, and I chose to pull that off for a couple reasons. One is I have, in my entire life, and knock on wood, I've only had one flat tire. You know, I'm pretty close to places where I can either get things repaired or replaced pretty quickly, so I'm not off riding down dirt roads over big rocks and rock crawling where I think I need a spare tire. I did end up getting the all-weather floor mats. I had originally the off-road recovery kit on there. I believe I pulled that off. $600 for stuff I can probably go to my local hardware store and pick up and throw into the truck. Just seemed like an easy thing to do. Same with the field kit. Seems pretty expensive unless you want branded Rivian gear. It's pretty expensive for some band-aids and gauze, so I had originally pulled that off. Now, with the tonneau cover, you've got to go powered tonneau cover. I'm not sure why you'd want to be opening and closing this tonneau cover, manually. I think it's pretty cool that it's automatic. I've got something on the bed of my Dodge 1500, and rolling it up is fine, but boy, pushing a button would be great. Now, here is where I see value. If you're going to get the kitchen, here is where some of the math might make sense for you, because you get the gear tunnel shuttle, and that's $1,500. So that comes automatically when you get the kitchen. So the kitchen doesn't seem as expensive anymore, because you could get the gear tunnel shuttle by itself for $1,500 without the kitchen. So when you kind of bundle those things together, they are kind of giving you a discount on the kitchen if you think about it. I hope that makes sense. That's at least the logic that I went through. I did end up getting the cargo crossbars, but if you notice, they're only $500. I think there's a lot of value add for those. You can use them for a lot of different things. And when you get the tent, they actually come with it. So again, when you take a look at $3,700 for a tent, it's pretty expensive. At least I've never bought a tent that goes on a vehicle before, so it seems like it is to me. But when you consider that they're throwing in the crossbars, that probably makes it feel a little bit more manageable. And then I did not opt for the bike mount, the snowboard, kayak, or the surfboard. Here in Illinois, we don't do a lot of surfing. So, but I did end up adding the wall charger. So when we go back, and if we take off, we remove the kitchen and we remove the tent, okay? Now we're starting to get a better look of what my vehicle is. Now, the pricing on this current vehicle is different than my current vehicle. So let's just dive in there, and you can see the difference for those early adopters that got their pre-order in versus those that are jumping in now. So I'm going to go in and sign in. All right, so here you'll actually be able to see my configuration. And this is why sometimes being an early adopter is beneficial, is especially with some of the manufacturing delays and chip shortages and all the different things that are probably really unpredictable for us. You can see the cost in that just comparatively. So you can see my truck here, 77,625 collectively configured with the tow hooks, all-weather, tonneau cover, cargo crossbars, wall charger, adventure package, large, and then everything that we covered. So there is a distinct difference, obviously, in pricing today, and there, depending on when you're watching this video, will probably be others. All right, now that we've gone over the configuration, let's talk about my first experience with Martin, my guide. Today, as I mentioned before, I was supposed to have a call with him, and yes, unfortunately, he got ill. That does happen. But this tells me how committed Rivian and their employees are to continue to produce vehicles, get them delivered, and commit to the customer. That Martin today reached out even early to see if we could communicate via text. This way there was no delay in the delivery process, and I could get any of those loose questions that I had unanswered answered by him. First off, today I started with getting those rim questions answered. I really wanted some advice on what's the better tire to choose from? Is it worth kind of getting more of those off-road tires, or is it better to get those 22s if I'm going to be on the road? And it was nice to hear Martin give me just honest feedback as to what they're designed to do and help guide me, literally, to making a decision that was best suited for my vehicle. Now, Martin also let me know that getting the 22s would help me keep my configuration and get my vehicle quicker, which is also a priority. So making these last minute changes, I think, would only cause more delays in the production of the vehicle, at this point at least. The other piece that I asked him is, because I'm doing a YouTube channel, he asked to confirm my address for delivery, and I asked if it was possible to actually pick up the vehicle from the Rivian plant in Bloomington Normal. I'm not too far, I'm only a couple hours away, which I thought would be kind of a cool experience, but unfortunately, based off of the timing of this video, they're not delivering vehicles from the plant. Now, that doesn't mean that that's not something that will be done in the future, but as of right now, they are doing the at-home deliveries. Once I had my configuration confirmed with Martin, the next thing he did is emailed me a link to two documents. First is the electronic consent document that just says most of what this transaction is going to do is just online. I'm going to have online signatures, pretty traditional, especially now in a COVID world, to be using things like DocuSign or things like that. The other one was the preliminary buyer's agreement. This covered the details. What I just covered with you is the configuration of my R1T and some of the other more legal jargon that comes with buying vehicles, warranty, liabilities, all those different things. Pretty simple to go through. Martin was great about taking your time to read that, really understand it, sign it, and get it back to him. All right, once I got those signatures over, Martin was very quick to let me know that that in itself will be the key to getting things into production. Now, I'm just waiting on my email to go over my digital purchase process, which covers things like financing, trade-ins, insurance, etc. More to come on that in future videos, so look forward to that. But that's when he laid the big news on me, that I will be getting my R1T before the end of May, and it's May 3rd now. So I know that's still about a month away, but it could be sooner. That's the anticipation that I don't know, but I know it's coming and I'm excited. Outside of that, that's all I've got. I'm excited to keep this process moving and share my experience with all of you. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions about the process so far or what I'm going through, please put those in the comments below. And if you like this content and want to see more, don't be afraid to like it, share it, and subscribe. We'll see you guys on the next video.